listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Learn more about the topics of today's show at buncombecounty.org. Okay, it's time to get tapped in.
Hello, 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 and greetings to all who are listening to my voice. It is that time to get tapped in. That was Randy just trying to get rid of us that quickly. No, Randy, we're still here. It's our turn. Mm-hmm. So I am your host, ZaKiya and
I'm Leonard Jones.
Leonard and I come to you from Communications and Public Engagement Department of Buncombe County, where heroes wear capes.
Joining us today are two guests, Buncombe County Special Collection Manager Katherine Cutshall, and also the African American Heritage Commission member Tiffany De'Bellot. We understand that the holidays are quickly approaching and families are beginning to gather and discuss the good old days. So we at Buncombe County would like to share resources that could assist in capturing not only your family's history, but also Asheville and Buncombe County history. So welcome, Katherine and Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Katherine and Tiffany, just a quick second to let our folks know who you are. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with Tiffany first because she's sitting directly in front of me. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany De'Bellot, and I am a member of the African American Heritage Commission, and I come to you wearing many hats. Mm-hmm. I also work with the Center for Participatory Change. I sit on the Reparations Commission of Asheville, and I also am a YMI board member, a LEAF board member, and a No Leaf Thrive board member. And so I'm really happy to be here and share some resources.
Cool. All right. Katherine.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Katherine Cutshall. I am the Special Collections Librarian at Pack Memorial Library. So the Buncombe County Special Collections Library is our local history archive where we have everything from books, business papers, things that date all the way back to the 1600s, and items that we brought into our collection just a couple weeks ago at an event I'm sure we'll talk about at Stumptown. So the Special Collections Library is downstairs at Pack Library at 67 Haywood Street, and we'd love for you to come see us.
Okay, so you just took us into our first question.
Oh, great.
So what is the Buncombe County Special Collections? You made mention of it, but what does that actually mean?
So the Buncombe County Special Collections is a specialized reference library. We have two different parts to our collection. One part is our reference materials, so books that are on really specific topics that can help folks understand local history in the past, books that otherwise wouldn't circulate very often, but we've got additional resources, a larger nonfiction collection than the rest of the county. And then the other part of it is our local history archive. So these are original documents that some, like I said, date all the way back to the 1680s. And other items are, we call them born digital materials, things that were created digitally and never have existed in print form. So with all of the different things that we have in our collections, we offer that to community members, folks who are doing serious doctoral research. We had somebody in yesterday doing that. But it's really wonderful because a lot of these archival collections are more difficult to get to. They're not as accessible, but with us being in a public library, you can just walk right in and come and touch a book that was printed in the 1680s, which I think is just so cool. But we also have, we're so close to getting a station set up called a digitization station. So to be able to bring your memories in and sit down and get a little bit of help digitizing those and preserving those memories for you in the future. So we do a whole lot in special collections.
Wow. And so, Kath, I remember a few years ago, Special Collection kind of went through a facelift. Can you just share with the listeners today what that facelift and different things different about Special Collections
Sure.
in the past?
Yeah, so before the pandemic, we were known as the North Carolina Room at Pack Memorial Library, and we decided that we would take the opportunity of the pandemic shutdown. We were able to get back to work by about May or June, where we were kind of working in the building and we knew we weren't going to be open. So we took the opportunity to do a little bit of change in our space. It was looking kind of drab. It was feeling kind of cramped, and we wanted to create a space that was more welcoming to everybody in our community. The resources were the same, the resources were still wonderful, but we wanted folks to walk in the door and feel cozy, to feel at home, to feel like they could just be here for no reason. So we changed our name to the Buncombe County Special Collections. We've refocused our collections on just Buncombe County and some of our surrounding counties. So for instance, before we had quite a few books on the Outer Banks, but we got rid of those Outer Banks books in preference of things that are about like Greenville and Spartanburg. So to really focus on our immediate region. We painted the walls. We put in a timeline of Buncombe County history, an exhibit that we call an incomplete history of Buncombe County, because of course there's more every day. And so really just transform the space into one that's really comfortable and inviting. And it feels really good to, you know, have folks come in the room and go, oh, wow, this is really nice. So we're sort of a hidden gem in the basement of Pack Library.
Yeah, so the last time I was there, you have these little models, the house model, and you have a stuffed fox. It's a fox, right? It is a fox.
It is a fox. We do have a taxidermy fox.
Yeah, a taxidermy fox. Yeah, you can tell it. Those folks who aren't privileged enough to know have one of those stuffed animals at their house. So, and there is a taxidermy fox that belonged to somebody else that donated it, right? To the library.
That's correct. So the taxidermy fox is part of a whole collection of items that came to us from the Stokely family, Wilma Dykeman. So they're part, we have a couple of Wilma Dykeman's hats. She was very famous for wearing her hats. And this fox, which I'm not exactly sure what the backstory is there, but I want to say that it was killed somewhere near her home, and she got permission from Fish and Wildlife to have it stuffed. he adorns our room in a very nice or creepy way, whichever he decided to do about it.
So if you would like to go see that fox, please take a moment and travel down to Pack Library.
We got plenty of other stuff.
Yeah. But make sure you see the fox first. But no, I always talk about that fox because that's the first thing my eyes catch every time. Even when y'all moved, I was like, there's the fox. and that's enough about the fox. So let's talk about like the things that are going on and how this ties into the African American Heritage Commission. We were doing a backpack project, and I don't know if you all, our listeners, remember earlier this year we talked about the backpack project. So we don't have Erin here, but we have Tiffany here, and what we've been doing with the African American Heritage is coordinating backpack or recording history. And so you all can talk about the Stumptown event as well with that, but you can go ahead and give us some information, either one, whoever wants to go first. Okay, Katherine.
Oh, sure. I'll go first and just talk about the oral history backpack loan program. So we really kicked that off in the summer this year. And so we've got 8 backpacks, just regular old book bags that are completely full of all of the items that you might need to conduct a really nice audio recording. We're marketing them as oral history backpacks, but we've had several students come and use them for their podcasts and things like that. It's just a high quality recorder. And what else is in the backpack are, instructions for how to use all the equipment. There is a guidebook on how to, conduct a really good oral history. There are some question cards, some question idea prompt cards. I like to call those the Ask Mamaw questions because they're really about, things like, what was your childhood like? What was your favorite food when you were a kid? Where did you go to school? So they're not necessarily hard-hitting journalism, but it's good stuff. It's good conversation cards. And of course, there is paperwork in there so that if you are interested in donating the recording of the oral history to our collection, you've got all of the things that you need in there to do that. But of course, you're under no obligation to. In fact, we've had lots of folks check out the backpacks and go and conduct an interview, but they're going to go see their family in Texas where they're originally from. So it doesn't really fit with our collections guidelines, but we love that we're able to offer this opportunity for folks to go out and record those that are close to them and then have that memory for, as long as they keep it. So it's just really great that even though it's not, there is no requirement for you to donate the recording that you create to our collection. So it's just really great to be able to offer that resource. And building up on that, here soon, I don't have a firm date yet, but here in a few weeks, we'll also have backpacks that we call Archivist in a Backpack. So it'll have a scanner so that you can take that home, scan your photos, and keep those long term.
I know our supervisor, Rashida Hall, she always, when she talks about the backpack program, of what a privilege it is that, as people in your family pass away and transition, that you take down an opportunity to record their voice, because in a few years with your children or your grandchildren, you can go back and actually hear the voice of your loved one. And she always kind of mentions that when we promote the backpack program. So that's a great thing, especially with going into the holidays and sitting around. And we just never know. We came out of the pandemic, and this is just a great opportunity. We always get together anyway and talk about the good old days. So what a great way to just add not only to your own family history, but just the history of the area. So it's always a great plug for it. But Tiffany, you got anything you would like to add in terms of collecting history? And
Sure. One thing I would like to say and mention is that it's also a part of the African American Heritage Commission's work plan. And so one of the goals, which is to encourage written and oral photography, documentation, and history, which is in collaboration with, of course, special collections. So we also plan to utilize volunteers and bring individuals in order to kind of make this work move forward, and we have the support that we need. So thank you for that and all your efforts that you do, Katherine.
Oh, well, and thank you all for everything that you do. I think one of the most important things about the Oral History Backpack Program and our community-led archiving efforts is that we're not trying to come out and take something from anybody. We're providing the resources that you need to record a high-quality interview with somebody, and that's enough for us. And it's, even better when you have a connection and something that could benefit the collection. Having these personal testimonies is so incredibly important when we're going back to write history, that all of these details that get missed in official documents and official records, especially when it comes to historically marginalized groups. You just don't have a whole lot there. And so, in some of the other work that we're doing together with the Reparations Commission, really leaning on these oral histories to be able to, connect the dots.
And I think it's important because these are stories that we've lost along the way. And so even looking at the African American Heritage Commission incorporating students and young people on this project so that they can continue to carry the legacy, but also that they can recognize and acknowledge the history.
That was just like when we met with, what was her name, Miss Miller?
Yes, Miss Miller.
And she brought up the honeydew drop.
Yes.
Just little things in terms of community and what people remember as.
And just joining us is Aaron Griffin. He doesn't have a mic, but I'm going to share mine with him. And he was actually there to conduct that interview with Miss Miller. And so just scoot up just a little bit and just tell us, that about that experience. How was that for you? Come on in.
And y'all did use an oral history backpack.
Yeah, we did an oral history backpack. Just go ahead and lean in and talk. Come on. We can share.
Well.
And Aaron also is the board chair of the African American Heritage Commission.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome, Aaron.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. The interview with Miss Miller was awesome. For me, it was personal and spiritual at the same time. I just could not take my eyes off of her. And, the things that she was saying, and she had such a positive outlook about urban renewal, and it was just amazing. It just taught me, because naturally I'm thinking like everything is so bad, but she just flipped it on me and showed me the process in a different light, which it was very enlightening.
And she cherished some memories of like being, was she a majorette or somewhere involved with Stevens High School that she had holding and sharing our pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah. And also, we had an event with the Buncombe County Library where we scanned and looked at YMI archives. We had their pictures, and that was pretty exciting. I think all of us were there. No, Aaron was there, myself and Leonard. Yeah, and so that was pretty exciting because we saw pictures of like Commissioner Al Whiteside when he was probably our age. And so it was like so cool because like, and actually like some of our own like older family members when they were like our ages, and we're like, oh wow. And so it kind of helped you take them from these people that you keep all the way up here and make them normal and say, you know what, they were once just regular people before, and they did the work, and now they're out here. Now how can I gather with them? And so are you all doing any other special projects like that?
Yeah, so thank you for mentioning the partnership that we have with the YMI. So, you know, the YMI is in transition right now, and I'm sure that Tiffany can tell us a little bit more about that since she's on the board. But since they moved out to start those renovations, the Buncombe County Special Collections has been working together to help organize and preserve the archival material that the YMI had. So since that time, you know, we've been storing those materials and working together with YMI staff, with Aaron and the Cape team to slowly start to, you know, make real good sense of these records and describe them a little bit. And so hopefully, and this will happen soon, is when the YMI moves back into their space. All of those archives will go back over there with them, and we'll continue that partnership in making sure that the YMI's records are visible to researchers and community members on our catalog, on our online catalog. Mm-hmm. So when you go to sit down to search for something in Buncombe County Special Collections and you type in, you know, Johnny Baxter, you're going to get several different records. One of them might be something that is a part of the Buncombe County Special Collections library collection, and then another one might be related to the YMI, and in that record it'll show you that it's stored at the YMI's archives, and we'll work together to make sure that folks have access to these materials. So I'm just pleased as punch or whatever you say that we've been able to do this and do it in community with one another, because these work days, y'all have been there, they're just so much fun.
I know.
You come away feeling so good.
Yeah. And you get a sense of community out of that. Now, I know earlier we were talking, and Tiffany, you all have some events coming up, right?
The YMI?
No. I'm sorry. You had some events on a card, what, the African American Heritage, I think, or was it the YMI? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I have several events and resources coming up in community.
Yes.
What's interesting is that I wear so many hats that it's sometimes challenging to one. But
what am I here for?
As a YMI board member, I would like to say thank you to Katherine and Special Collections for just stepping in and helping to support archive all of that information. And so right now what we're having is the Center for Participatory Change is hosting a Black Love remix party and fish fry coming up. So we really encourage everyone to please come to the Grove Street Community Center from 3 to 6 p.m. And it will be after the parade, November 18th. Okay. So we encourage everyone to come out to that. And also the reparations meetings. So the next meeting will be Monday, December 4th. And that's at 6 p.m. located at Harris Center. And again, the African American Heritage Commission meets every other month on the second Thursday of the month at 4:30.
Yes. I like that. That you do wear so many hats. So we're gonna have to get you like a fedora? And so you can just put like little spot. You can put like little labels on each.
Feathers.
Yeah, different feathers to represent each different board you're on.
I did want to also kind of piggyback off what Katherine you mentioned. So with the YMI, constructions are underway, and pretty soon there will be a reopening. And Katherine mentioned about the archives that I thought was really interesting. If you don't mind, and I know it's a vision.
Sure, it is a vision, but I think, you know, it's going to be one that comes to fruition. So in the process of sorting through the YMI archival materials, you know, as archivists, we do what we call weeding. And it's just like weeding your garden. You don't want, you know, your dandelions to choke out your zinnias.
Mhm.
So you go through and you pick out, you know, the cream of the crop kind of stuff, things that are representative. One, you know, example I like to use is, you know, we probably had 300 pictures of each Goombay every year. It's like, well, we can't keep all of those. And how many pictures of people standing in the street can you keep? So what we've done, rather than tossing those things, and most of the time that's what we do, like our Bell Share collection, as we went through it, you know, those pictures went in the trash can. But in this instance, we held on to everything. We didn't want to throw anything away, especially when it's just special collection staff working on it. You know, this is a decision for the YMI, for the community. So we've held on to everything, and our hope is that when we do an opening, when the YMI opens back up, we'll be able to bring out all of those extra pictures, things that were duplicates or a little blurry maybe, or, you know, it's very similar to one image or another, and just lay all that out and give it back to the people who donated it in the first place. You know, here's, you know, and you may not know, it's just a lot of them are really busy street scenes, and so taking the time to look through those pictures and go, oh, there's so and so, you know, and like you were saying, that experience of seeing folks who, you know, we don't envision as young people anymore, but seeing them out and about and doing those things. So we're hopeful that there will be an event sometime after the opening where we'll offer this stuff back to the community.
And I've also been encouraging people in Asheville, if you have pictures with clusters or group of people, to upload them, because the thing is, like, you just don't know who doesn't have a picture of a family member that's in that picture. I'll tell y'all a story when we're not on air, but it's just so important because the camera captures many things that the memory doesn't have, and so that's why it's so important. If you have those pictures, I know my mother-in-law recently passed, and we have all these pictures of all these folks from when she graduated from high school, that they gave her pictures of them. And I said, my husband was like, I don't know those people, I'm gonna throw them away. And I was like, no, let me take pictures of them and put them online. And if people want them because they know who they are, let's give them to them. And he was like, okay. But that's just so important, because just because we don't know that person belongs to someone else. And it's important to get that out.
Even if you think in terms of community, I like photography, but even landscapes, because we do realize here in Asheville, Buncombe County, there's a lot of gentrification. So a lot of our neighborhoods don't look like they looked in the past. And you totally forget how they look until you see an old picture. And so I know when we were doing the YMI archive, there's many pictures around the block. And so just to see the block before the parking deck went up on Market Street, and various things that I know I shared on social media, and it's just like instantaneously it become like a little micro viral moment here, because it's like, oh wow, that is what it used to look like. So even just landscapes, especially in our communities that are fading away, that this is a great time to really just kind of dig in and see if maybe you have pictures in your family photo albums that you don't think is something big, but who knows, people forget those places that are being torn down. So.
I think I'll just squeeze in here something that you know, is an anecdote from my own family images and papers and things, is that you know, when the shutdown started and we all went home for COVID, I, you know, needed a project, so I got with my dad and got, you know, I think it was 6 or 7 Rubbermaid tubs, like the big totes full of stuff. My grandmother was one of these people who kept every scrap of paper. I mean, she even had her friends' little place cards from graduation and stuff. It was everything. But right before the shutdown, I had been talking to the folks over at the Orange Peel. You know, they were starting to put together a history exhibit to go in that space, and they could not find a picture of the outside of the building in the mid-1950s when it was the roller drome. We couldn't find a good one. There were some out there in the newspaper, but they were blurry. You couldn't blow them up very well. And so here I am sorting through all of these pictures, pictures of my Uncle Boozer when he was a young man, and when he was working where the garage that's Wicked Weed now. And so flipping through these pictures, and all of a sudden, here's a picture of my Uncle Boozer standing outside the orange peel, standing in the parking lot of what is now Wicked Weed, but the picture was taken in such a way that you could see the Skateland Rollerdrome sign in a much better way. So you don't know what's hiding in all of these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what's out there.
Yeah.
Well, we have to start wrapping up. I know they kind of went fast. And so I'm going to give everybody a moment to leave something here, and then I'm going to wrap us up. So, Katherine, because you're to my right, I'm going to let you start.
Sure. So, special collections programming is sort of winding down for the winter. We're going to take December off. But one of the things I hope folks can keep an eye out for is certainly the oral history backpacks are available. Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is coming up, other holidays where we're going to be spending time with family. So if you're interested in getting one of those oral history backpacks, reach out to us at the Buncombe County Special Collections Library. And then also, like I mentioned, these scanner backpacks will be coming out soon, and we'll have a digitization station set up in the library. So reach out to us. That pictures don't have to be bashful. We're here to act as a resource to help you preserve your memories. And then if they happen to be Asheville related, we'll have a conversation about that and see if it's something that we might want to physically bring into the archive. So come get an oral history backpack, keep an eye out for the scanner backpacks, and then we'll restart with some programming in the springtime and the late winter, where we'll have our second round of our book club called Land of the Sky 101. Mm-hmm. So it's a really unique book club. We've got some really cool selections for this year, and we do it quarterly. And there are two selections, one fiction or poetry or kind of lighter reading, and then one like more academic text, one that's a little more dry but helps contextualize the fiction. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really excited about some of those programs.
And Tiffany?
All right, well, let's put on different hats. So I really would love to encourage individuals to visit the YMI and set up a hard hat tour. You would be amazed at the beautiful work that's happening during the construction. Again, shameless plug, please join us Saturday, November 18th. It is a collaborative event with the Center for Participatory Change and the Racial Justice Coalition. It's called Black Love, and it's going to be unlimited fish. So please join us November 18th, 3 to 6 p.m. at the Grove Street Community Center. And please like the CPC Facebook page. Thank you.
Leonard? Oh, hold on. We're going to let Aaron go. Aaron?
The only thing I would say is get involved. Yes. Get involved. It's find you a good community organization and go to work and show love.
And I would just like to bring it back around to the oral history backpack project. I just most recently just lost my father, and I just think of the opportunity of capturing just some of those memories that you may share, but this is a way just to capture history, as we mentioned earlier, not only just your family, but just other area. A lot of times people ask, where are the Black people are in Asheville? And we are here, and we have stories. And this is an opportunity to just go start digging through some of your photo albums, sitting with some of the elders in your family, and just really embracing the treasures and the nuggets that they have for you, and the nuggets that they can pass on to future generations. So I strongly encourage people to visit our local libraries, check into this oral history backpack program. And it doesn't just have to be about people of color. It can be anyone. We're all here in Buncombe County and part of the area, and we just really want to embrace of capturing our history, so it's not someone else is not telling our history, but we are telling it ourselves.
Yeah, like that. I like that. So as we all know, we are coming up on the holiday season. And I think, so much of it has become so commercialized that we think about what we can give, that somebody can hold. And there are many ways that you can hold things. You can hold them in your memory, you can hold them in your heart, you can hold them in your hand. And so I want to encourage all of us to visit the library and get one of those backpacks, because how about holding that history for family members who aren't here yet, so that instead of them telling them about their great-great-grandmother or their great-grandmother or uncle or somebody like that, they can actually hear their voice. It is so important that we establish a history within our families, because if not, we're just guessing. So this holiday, that is what, well, and not just this holiday, on and on. If you are a retired group of folks and you all hang out in the spring, schedule a time to go see the special collections. If you have a group of kids on a Saturday, schedule a time to go see it. If you have teenagers, take them down and show them the special collections. There is never a reason why you shouldn't be able to just pack up and say, hey, let's go check this out. So with that being said, I wish all of you all to be safe, loved, and supported during this time, and get that history, get those voices, and get that love. And we are one Buncombe, so we're here to support you. And until then, you've been tapped in.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Nashville. Learn more about today's topics at buncombecounty.org. Otherwise, stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.